We're 90 minutes before the open on Wednesday, December 8th. Hello, traders. Let's take a look at my prior two picks. I didn't do a video Tuesday. My last video was Monday, a couple hours after the open. My long of the day was UNP. Now, I did say that we were focusing on day trades. I did not like the market volatility. We've had huge rallies, huge sell-offs the next day, so overnight swings, very difficult. But UNP did look nice. We had this bullish flag formation, breakout above this compression. It did have an opportunity to get long early in the day yesterday, and you can see upward sloping trend line, breached a downside. You would have been taking gains in here. Not the best pick because you can see UNP did close on its low of the day. You had an opportunity to make some money in it. NET was my short of the day. The premise there was that the stock stay under the 100-day moving average. If we got a market decline and the stock was below the 100-day moving average, this would have been a nice candidate for you to short. You can see stock finishing on its low of the day when the market finished on its high of the day. Not a good showing for NET. I think it's still a decent short in here. You can see stock drifting lower the entire day. So let's take a look at what the market's doing. Let's take a look at how things are lining up for today. I'm going to keep this video fairly short. Here's what I noticed yesterday. Downward sloping trend line, gap up. I said this has a chance to go. We have a bullish flag forming right here. We're through that upward sloping trend line. I want to go into my chat room. I want to verify to you that I actually said this. So as we go into yesterday's comments, I'm going to scroll down. You can see we've got some members getting long Apple. I also bought Apple right here about 15 minutes after the open. Really, really nice looking stock. You can see how a number of us are getting on this. Now I'm also long AVGO. Not huge candles on SPY, but stacked with little overlap. This looks like a strong move, and it's supported by overseas markets. This is also in my pre-open market comments. We also have 1OP working for us. That's my proprietary indicator. As long as 1OP is climbing, favor the long side. I don't want you to chase, but I know this pattern. This is 30 minutes after the open. We will run hard for another hour and sit. You have to make your money now. Once we stall, the market will compress. So I'm going to take the chat room off. Let's take a look at what the market did. So we'll go into a 5-minute chart. There's the S&P 500. It's exactly what I was referring to. Stacked green candles, not particularly strong only in that there is a lot of overlap in them, but we had that bullish flag formation on SPY, so it looked like this move was definitely going to continue because we had these stacked green candles. So this is where I said you've got to get long because this is going to run its course in an hour. And there is what happened in that hour. There's what happened the rest of the day. As the day unfolded, I mentioned to members in here, I know this pattern as well. And there are two things that can unfold into the close today. So one is going to be a compression like this, where you get a head fake through the low end of this channel right in here, this horizontal support, this compression, and then you're going to get a release, and we're going to challenge the high of the day and blow right through it. This was too early to see that move. The other move I had mentioned was a number of small candles that start to make it look like the market is going to sell off into the close. This is the pattern that I prefer because it starts getting speculators short in here, only to set up for a closing move higher. You can see 1OP was moving lower and lower and lower, getting ready for a bullish cross. In here, we were looking for a bullish engulfing candle or a bullish hammer. We got it. We're looking to get long and stay long overnight. That's exactly what we did. I bought Apple and I bought NVIDIA. NVIDIA still looks good. And you can see that bullish hammer led to a big closing rally for the S&P 500, getting right up on that high of the day. So let's go in and take a look at my market comments in the chat room. Again, I do this just to show you that this is real. This is actually happening throughout the course of the day. I'm going to continue to scroll through all the comments. These times are central times. So Added to Apple, long Nvidia. Market did not get too far from the high of the day. That was good. That tells us that buyers are still engaged in the market. And these were intended to be overnight swings. I was nibbling, nibbling, nibbling right in here as the market was coming in on that green candle right there. This is when I said, okay, I think we can start buying. Big volume, bullish cross pending. This morning we got the S&P futures up about 10 points before the open. Let's go into that daily chart. Downward sloping trend line, breach to the upside. Very powerful move in here. There's another downward sloping trend line here. Gap up, closing on the high, gap higher the next day. This is a very nice pattern to trade. Will we gap up and continue to blow through the all-time high? I don't know. On my long positions this morning, I'm going to be looking to take overnight gains. This type of volatility recently tells me that it's not going to be just a one and done, even though we've got this really nice bullish flag formation coming, even though we're gapping higher this morning. I think that the FOMC statement next week is going to keep buyers relatively passive. So yes, could we come up and challenge the high? Sure looks like we may do that, perhaps even today or this week. But as we start getting into Monday and Tuesday next week, I think some of the air gets let out of the balloon. I think traders are going to just sit, watch, wait for that statement to see how progressive Fed's tapering is going to be. They've already stated that inflation is persistent, it is not transitory. We've got the new variant of the virus coming out that's going to suppress economic activity. So the market's priced for perfection right now. We have not seen forward PEs at this level since the year 2000. The backdrop is anything but perfect. That's why we get this type of volatility. And this was a pretty decent sized pullback. If I put up the major moving averages, you can see the 50-day and the 100-day came into play. We closed below the 50-day, almost touched that 100-day. That's another reason why I think this is going to release higher. So let's take a look. I'm going to be focusing on the bullish side. Again, I want to get this video out as soon as I can, so I'm going to go into my bull run search. I'm going to put up NVIDIA. You can see beautiful strength throughout the course of the day. Put up 10 SI. You're going to see that throughout the course of the entire day, the stock remains strong relative to the market. Orange line above zero equals relative strength. There you can see compression, compression, compression. Here's the tell. Couple of tells. Let's go into the market. Everything starts with the market. How did I know that we were going to get this pattern? Well, this comes from experience. I've seen this pattern, so I know how to trade it. I knew that we had to make our money early, gap and go. Once it exhausts itself, buyers and sellers start to settle in and you compress and there's nothing going on. So you either make your money here or you just wait. Now, at the end of the day, you did get a nice opportunity in here to make your money. So if you missed that, you still had a chance, but there were only about 15 to 20 minutes to really get long. So in any event, we've got this nice rally, this compression. What does NVIDIA do? By the way, the market stayed close to the high of the day, and that was important because if this move right here had started to really deteriorate and we start getting into the middle of the range from the open to the high, then you've pulled back far enough to where that selling pressure could show you that there's some pretty substantial profit taking place. Otherwise, you have to expect that these are bullish speculators taking profits. You've had this nice run during the course of the day. You've got this compression. Now you're getting this pullback. Everybody that bought in here is okay hanging on, hanging on, hanging on as long as this support holds because they're looking for that release into the close. They're looking for that late day rally that they can take profits on. Unfortunately, they get trapped by this and they start losing some of their gains, so they start exiting, kind of panicking out of their positions, locking in what they have. Well, because we're able to stay pretty close to the high, it tells me that buyers are still engaged. As soon as we get this little bit of support, bullish speculators out of the way, bullish hammer, and this looked really nasty too. As the candle is forming, it looks like, uh-oh, here we go. Big sell-off coming. Everybody out of the pool. But you have to wait for these candles to finish. Sometimes on a 5-minute bar, the very last minute is going to be the tell. Closes on its high, bullish hammer. See you later. So, market looked good. What did Nvidia do during that entire little dip right in here? Look, you can just look at the last 5 bars. Market flat, Nvidia inching, inching, inching higher, stayed right up on the high of the day. That was the tell for me. It told me that this stock really wants to go. So yes, it's going to be up this morning. I would not chase Nvidia this morning. I would not chase any stock this morning. As I mentioned to you, I'm going to be looking to take profits on my Apple and my Nvidia overnights pretty close to the open. Then I can take a deep breath. I can evaluate the market action. And if I need to get back into those trades, I'm going to enter those trades. But market conditions are choppy, so my overnight swings are few and far between. This was a nice setup. This is a bullish flag that we had on a daily chart. So this did warrant having some overnight long exposure. But other than that, I'm keeping my overnights very, very minimal. And you can see, look at the volatility we've had recently. This is no bueno for overnight trading. Very good for day trading, but not good for overnights. But finally, we have an opportunity on a daily chart, technically, to get long and to justify holding an overnight position. So you have to be able to identify these opportunities on an S&P chart, then you have to find the best stock. Market first, stock second. That's how everything works. Nvidia looks great. Let's go into the daily chart. I'm going to talk to some of you on a swing trading basis now. Downward sloping trend line, breach to the upside. Nvidia should challenge this high probably in the course of the next week or so. Stock still looks very, very strong. You can see how it was able to maintain its bid even when the market was going down. Overlay the S&P 500. Market down, down, down. Nvidia compressing, holding the breakout beautifully. There's your earnings after the close. There's your gap higher. This point was able to hold. So I love that it came back and checked it under very weak market conditions. Now it's poised to be back off to the races. So how would I play this if I were a swing trader? Pete, you told me not to swing trade. You told me to be super, super careful. So I'm trying to do that. Is there an opportunity for me here? Draw a horizontal line right here. I can use my GTC alert line because this would be a significant support level. Actually, it's going to be violated right there. But if it were not violated, there we go. This alert is going to stay live for me. And if the stock comes back and breaches it, this is a support level. So you'd want to sell your out of the money bullish put spreads below that $290 support level. So a 290, 285 bullish put spread, get $1 credit for it. I like that trade. So that's a nice swing trade. I wouldn't go out more than 2 or 3 weeks. I like it. We've also got the FOMC statement next week, so I'd be a little bit careful with your swing trades. I'm expecting the Fed to come in next week and say, hey, listen, tapering does not mean tightening. We see what's happening with the virus. We're worried about the virus. We're worried about the economy. We're not ready to raise interest rates yet, folks, but we want to be preemptive. We see that inflation is persistent. We're going to accelerate our tapering. We're going to try and get it done in the first quarter. I think that's the news that's going to come out, at least from what Jerome Powell testified last week in front of Congress. That seems to be how they're leaning. I think the market's going to be all right with that type of news. They're going to go, okay, well, tapering is not tightening, so we'll be okay. We'll see how this all plays out. We've got the year-end rally. So look for a little bit of nervousness into the FOMC statement, but I believe that overall the market is going to try and maintain this high, at least tread water near it. Get your little Santa Claus rally. Why does this happen, Pete? Why do we see a rally into year-end? Doesn't make any sense. Well, if you realize that asset managers get paid as a percentage of assets under management, when you have higher asset values, they get paid more. So there is disincentive for them to sell their positions. Everybody plays nice in the sandbox. We just kind of let the market float higher. We get a nice mark into the year end. Everybody opens their financial statements in December. They see how well they did for the year. Nice warm fuzzy. That's how things tend to unfold. So when you don't get that close near the high of the year and you get selling in December, it is not a good omen for 2022. It's still way too early to make that call. But it looks, at least for today, tomorrow, maybe Friday, we are going to try and challenge the all-time high. So favor the long side with your day trades. I think Nvidia looks really, really good. Don't chase anything. Watch the market today. Make sure that the market's able to hold its early gains. So what would I be looking for if we get a gap higher? What would be my warning sign to avoid getting long? Well, it would be stacked red candles. So if you get your opening gap higher like this, and right out of the gate, you get red candle, red candle, red candle, red candle. If they're stacked with little to no overlap, that is the type of gap that is going to reverse. More likely, what I believe we're going to see, given that we're near the all-time high, we're going to see a little pop up this morning, and then we're going to see just a little bit of drift lower and lower, testing that opening gap. The longer that opening gap can hold, the longer that it is preserved, the more it confirms that buyers are still willing to chase stocks at this level. So a compression would be great because that gives us time to enter stocks. It gives us time to evaluate relative strength and to find that relative strength. That's a decent scenario. Best scenario is just a little bit of leakage in the first half an hour or so. Market doesn't even come back and fill in this little gap, which will be about 10 points. This was a big gap. Today it's going to be much smaller, but just let it come in, and as it comes in, this will allow you to evaluate relative strength. The stocks that really want to go are going to be doing this, stacking green candles consecutively while the market tests support and drifts a little bit lower. Well, when you see that type of price action, small little candles like that, mixed candles, you can buy a stock like this knowing that you've got a nice decent tailwind behind you. You got that bullish flag on a daily basis for SPY. You got a really strong stock, good volume, breaking through prior day's high, breaking through D1 technical resistance. Those are the things that you want to be looking for. That's what our searches are going to help us find out of the gate. So I'm not going to be chasing anything this morning out of the gate. I am going to be taking profits on Apple and Nvidia overnight, and then I'm going to be waiting, see how that compression plays out if we get it, see if there's a little drift lower if we get it. Then I'm going to be really aggressively searching for those stocks with relative strength. If we do this out of the gate today, boom, 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 higher, right up to the all-time high, I'm not going to play that game. All I'm going to do is ride my longs, look for a better exit point on them, but I'm not going to be out there aggressively buying stocks. Do not chase in this market. You have lots of opportunities to get long. I hope all these comments help you. Got to cut the video short. Nvidia is your pick of the day. Want to get this out before the open. Good luck with your trading. We're heading into year end. Lower volumes, tighter trading ranges. Be careful. Look for some positive market action over the course of the next couple days. Thank you. Please, if you found something of value in this video, post it in your comments so that I know to reinforce these concepts in the future. Thank you. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. I'm Pete Stolzers, and I'm going to keep the trade ideas coming along with lots of education, so make sure to subscribe to the channel and please turn on your notifications so that you never miss another trade. If you like the content, please give it a thumbs up. I've loaded 2 other videos that I think you're really going to enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon.